Dianna Russini gives us the latest in regard to what's going on with Jets ownership, Woody Johnson, his meddling, and we hear from a prominent Jets fan on why he wants Aaron Rodgers to return next on JetCast. What's going on, everybody? As always, I am Ray, and I am here after hearing all this nonsense going on on Jets Twitter. Forgive me for I am a little under the weather, but if you like our content, we ask you to humbly like and subscribe. And if it's your first time here, welcome. So I'm scrolling through X today. Obviously, there are a ton of names being reported all throughout the NFL in regard to who is going to be interviewing for not only the Jets head coaching hire, but let's be honest, the general manager, which is the number one thing that the Jets have to get right in this search. You can almost fumble a head coaching hire, but if you don't have the right guy upstairs, as we all saw with Joe Douglas, it does not matter. Now, I want to get to this clip from Dianna Russini, who gets into what's going on with Woody Johnson, his thoughts in regard to what's going on with the searches, but more of, does he need to get out of meddling with the New York Jets? Let's take a listen.
There's teams that have a lot of rebuilding to do. And two teams that always stay in the headlines are the Cowboys and the Jets. Dianna, I don't even know what question to ask you about the Jets, but I'll just put it this way to you. The Jets. Go ahead.
You know, I'm sure you guys read our article, which I'm shocked you guys didn't.
Isn't it nice to see, Jet fans? We are still the freaking laughing stock of this league. We will always be the laughing stock of this league. Just end the season has become such a laughing thing for all fan bases to point towards us. We're really stuck in the abyss where we're at right now. We don't have a franchise quarterback. We could have drafted way higher, but no, we had to beat Jacksonville, right? And we had to win the last game of the season, which cost us another spot. So now we don't only have a young and upcoming quarterback, we don't know who the general manager is or who the head coach is. So once again, we are stuck in the abyss of the NFL.
Have me on. I figured I'd be jumping on the show, but maybe you guys were booked with college stuff because it was around that time when things were busy there. So without going back too far on it, because I'm sure you guys touched on it, which, you know, we did 6 months of reporting, essentially, of collecting information, because I'm so sick of hearing about, oh, the Jets are so dysfunctional, they stink, it's never gonna get better. That Zach Rosenblatt, our Jets beat reporter, and Mike Silver, who joined the Athletic a few months ago, the three of us just hopped on a call and we're like, well, why don't we find out what it is?
And for all the Jet fans out there saying, oh, Dianna Russini just keeps writing hit pieces about the Jets. Well, what kind of pieces do you want to be written? What good is coming out of this team? Outside of Garrett Wilson and Olu Fashanu, what good is coming out? What the heck good is coming out of this team? Maybe you could tell me something in the comments that I'm not seeing. But I look at next year, we're missing our third-round pick. We give away third-round picks for everybody. Hassan Reddick, who had, a half a sack the entire season, a third-round pick. Thanks a lot, Joe Douglas, is a beautiful parting gift. A third-round pick for Devontae Adams, who's going to have to restructure his deal if he wants to get off this team, because, of course, he's also owed a boatload of money. I mean, it's just dysfunction after dysfunction after dysfunction. When is it going to end?
What is the problem? And so we just started to keep a log of things that we were just
what could the problem
hearing.
be?
And then once you start grabbing things that you hear, you got to nail it down. And so we were able to nail it down and put together this article about why ownership has made some mistakes and why.
I love how Dianna, she's trying to be a little politically correct here. Why ownership has made some mistakes. Some. We haven't been to the playoffs in 14 years. It's the longest playoff drought by far in all professional sports in America. Think about that. It's a salary cap league. It's not even like baseball where you have the Pirates who can't spend any money or the Rays who can't spend any money. It's a salary cap league. It's just incompetence. And we could sit here and blame the GM. We could blame the head coach. But at the end of the day, there's one constant, and it's Woody Johnson up top. And unfortunately, he's too busy listening to his son and those stupid Madden ratings. Maybe they should come out with a Madden rating for owners. And when Woody sees he's at the dead last bottom of it, maybe then he'll get rid of the team. But at the end of the day, we can't change the owner. He's not going to sell. Our blood is always going to be green. He's got to get this next GM hire right. Can't push it enough.
Their children have a little bit too much power in some decision making, in influence within the walls of the building. Why a Madden rating in regards to players, not just Jerry Jeudy, but John Simpson. And there's even more players where a Madden rating is brought up and discussed in the meetings about whether or not that they should draft players, trade for players, sign them in free agency.
Don't you just love how the one host is laughing his you-know-what off, and the other one, he's definitely laughing in his head. Because once again, we're the laughing stock of the NFL.
And that is obviously the sexy item and the memorable part of what we discovered, because I don't know of any other organization that does that uses a Madden rating as a way to determine whether or not a player is good. But we really uncovered a lot of things about treatments of players. The Mike White story really stuck out to me. Mike White helped this team almost get into the playoffs. You remember people were cheering for him, wearing shirts with his name on it.
Another disaster.
He had a bad game. He's playing with broken ribs, and he's headed to the showers. And Woody Johnson was like, you know, you should throw your helmet because you stink. And he said it with obviously much more aggressive language. And that to me is a problem. That's cult.
Woody is a prototypical rich kid who's not getting what he wants. It's what he is. There's one thing. You could buy boats, you could buy houses, you could buy cars, you could buy islands, you could buy a country, for crying out loud. You can't buy a Super Bowl title. And not only do we have an owner that likes to meddle, but now he's going to shame players on their way out. He's using Rex Ryan as a mouthpiece right now. If Rodgers decides to come back, it's not going to be the same old country club. Get this BS out of here.
That an owner should not be speaking to their players that way. And the Jets shared with me that Woody did apologize, or at least someone from the Jets.
Who cares? You think Mike White cares? Oh, yeah, it's water under the bridge. Give me a break.
Let's apologize to Mike White for that. But look, we gave the Jets opportunity to also make sure that our reporting was exact by saying, hey, look, if this didn't happen, if the Madden rating is not true, let us know. And we will change our story. We'll let you comment on it. And they couldn't, because it's true. And so to answer your question, after 40 minutes of just talking there, the Jets now know they've got a problem. They've discussed this.
They have known they have a problem.
Know that Woody needs to back off. And so Mike Tannenbaum is leading the search for the GM and the head coach. And I think
the successful GM, Mike Tannenbaum, yes, he had some good years here, but we found out what he and Rex were made of. Rex left, goes to Buffalo, tanks that franchise. Mike Tannenbaum leaves, goes to Miami, tanks that franchise. So let's let them lead the search. Everyone keeps pointing, oh, look what they did in Washington. They didn't help them get the second overall pick to draft Jaden Daniels, did they? Dan Quinn already had Super Bowl coaching experience.
Those that are taking consideration into taking these jobs and meeting with the Jets, which I do think a lot of people are interested. They've got a good roster.
That's the gist when it comes to Dianna Russini. Hell of a reporter. Really respect her reporting. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about her reporting. Maybe you think it's just a hit job. I don't. I think she's doing legitimate reporting on this team. Now, I want to get to another video. Lo and behold, the late and great Joe Beningo, who I was a big fan of growing up. Maybe not so much lately. I think he's kind of losing his marbles a little bit when it comes to the Jets, but he goes on this tangent on WFAN. Let's react together.
I want Rodgers back. I've been saying that for a long time. I mean, even after the crummy performance in Buffalo. I mean, look, I mean, this is the best season I've seen a Jet quarterback have in 10 years. I mean, come on, since Fitzpatrick had his big year, in 2015. So, yeah, I want him back. I mean, come on. He gives us our best chance to win. You say whatever you want. I mean, he threw the third most touchdown passes in the history of the franchise.
One thing that people don't take into consideration, if you bring back Rodgers next year, which I do think is a possibility, very not likely. Like Rich Samini put like a 10% chance or so. But the cap ramifications going forward, you could take the full $90 million cap hit next year, restart, draft a young quarterback, and go ahead. But if you keep him on, the cap hit's going to keep rolling. That's the issue when it comes to it. And you're not winning next year. You're not bringing in Vrabel. Vrabel's going to the Patriots, it looks like, for crying out loud.
Which is mind-boggling when you think about it. I know he did it in 17 games, but yeah, I want it back. This team has talent. We've said this all along. You get the right coach in here, and let's run it back for.
Typical Jet fan, including myself, overrating the New York Jets' talent. Garrett Wilson's great. We all know that. Jermaine Johnson will be back. Breece Hall, I think we overrated him a little bit. I still think he's a very, very good running back. Not top 5. What we thought he was going to be. Sauce, I mean, I'm not going to kill the guy off one down year, but it was a down year to say the least. Let's be honest. A lot of these guys are going to be looking to get paid soon. You got to make the decision. Are you going to trade them now, or are you going to pay them? That's a new general manager going to have to make that decision. But having Rodgers off the books, that massive salary cap hit, potentially not this year coming up in 25, but the following year in 26, when you could take all the dead cap hit this year, potentially draft a young quarterback, use Tyrod Taylor as a bridge type guy. I think that's the way to go. We all know, no matter what, even if you bring Rodgers back next year, we're not winning anything. We're not winning anything. And that's what matters. I don't care about winning 7 or 8 games. Does it matter? He says, well, he's had the best year a Jets quarterback has had in 10 years. And what did that get us? Another top 10 pick. We're worse this year. We had the 7th pick this year. We had the 9th last year. We're worse this year. With a fully healthy offensive line. Aaron Rodgers, who played every game. He got his boy in Adams. You had a healthy Garrett Wilson. You had a lot of health. Blows my mind, these people.
Year with Aaron. Let's get Devontae back, who's still got a lot left in the tank as well. Let's straighten out things with Garrett Wilson for all his complaining. Caught 100 passes for 1,100 yards.
True. I mean, it's weird.
I can't take it anymore. The delusion has set in. Run it back. What are you winning when you run it back? You guys want to run it back? Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the nut job. Let me know in the comments you guys want to let it back. I'll be sure to get back to every single one of you guys. Man, Dianna Russini, hell of a reporter. I respect Joe Beningo. He's a big-time fan just like we all are. But I think we got to start thinking with our head. Let this new GM do what they have to do. Joe Douglas got 1,000,000 years and screwed it all up. Bottom 5 GM of all time. Just look at the record. Speaks for itself. Hired the wrong coach. Hired the wrong coaching staff. Drafted the wrong guy at 2. It's just time and time again. Bad decision after bad decision. Woody's got to get the hell out of the way and let this GM and head coach do what you hired them to do. Very frustrating. But we'll be here with draft content coming up, Pat and myself. Again, if you like our content, please like and subscribe. It helps the channel out so much. And until next time, take care.